Hi everyone, my name is Melissa Bender from benderfitness.com, and today I am joined by NPC competitor and winner, Michael Prest. Okay, so Mike just won first place in his division at the NPC Elite Physique Championship in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So yay, we're very excited.
Yeah. Thank you.
And he recently joined me for the Target tummy tightening workout, so I'll post a link to that so you guys can check it out. But I wanted to ask him a little bit about his competition training, because it's an entirely different world than just your normal fitness. You can work out, be fit, look good, but training is just a whole other story, which I'm going to let Mike talk about. But first things first, how did it feel to win your first division championship, or first place in your division?
Yeah, it was amazing. It's been a little over a week, and I'm still on cloud nine, and I'm still almost like I can't believe it. You know, you set out to do something like this, and of course, you really just set out to compete against yourself. At least I do. But everybody wants to win. Everybody likes to win, and to really hear your name being called for first place, and it's been pretty amazing. It's been pretty surreal.
I think that now would be a good time to show off your trophy.
It is.
Your new belt buckle?
Yeah, it's got some weight to it. So.
It's pretty cool, isn't it? I think that he should just drink all beverages out of it.
Dude,
just
that's
carry it
awesome.
around with him. We said make a belt buckle. It might feel a little awkward, but it would look really cool.
What do you think? A little too big.
Okay, so this was your second competition that you've ever done.
Correct.
So I was wondering, how did your training change from the first competition to the second competition?
Well, that's a good question, and I think you always want to try to improve on your training. Like you said, that was my very first competition, so I would say that the training changed a lot, because when I decided to do that first competition, you know, I'd been working out for a couple of years, but never really that serious. Like you said, it's a whole other game when you start to train for a competition. So, in the first through the first competition, we were trying to, like, I would say I trained for 8 months for that show, and we just at first tried to just build a lot of muscle, as much muscle as we could, and then get down, 12 weeks out or so, kind of get down and cut down. The way it changed this time is I was a lot more established, obviously, in a physique that I was comfortable with than the first time around. So this time, between shows, we didn't have as much time. So I think there was maybe 16 weeks in all between the two shows.
Yeah, that's short for competition training.
And we wanted to try to put on some muscle in certain areas, especially up in the upper body. So what we did was we went about 6 weeks of just trying to build as much as we could. And then I'd say we went about 10 weeks of diet and cutting down from there. So it changed a lot in the areas that we were trying to improve upon, basically.
Okay, very interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about the diet? To me, that's the scariest part of competitions, because I really, really enjoy eating a lot all day long. So it's a secret, not anymore. But so you can tell us a little bit about what your diet was like.
Sure. You're absolutely right. The diet is very tough, but you kind of get used to it, and basically you just try to clean everything up. I mean, you want to throw out, obviously, you want to throw out the sweets, anything that's high in sugar. So pretty much for the whole 16 weeks, even when we were building muscle, you want to put on good muscle. You don't want to just, just put on a bunch of mass, dead weight, things like that. So you're going to keep your sugars really low. And the diet changes depending on the phase that you're in for, as closer you get to the competition. But like I said, the sugars were low. We started out when we were building, the carbs were higher, the calories were higher, but we were eating lean meats, good carbs such as oatmeal, sweet potatoes, things like that. And then the closer you get, then the diet changes. Then once you start to cut out the carbs. You gradually decrease your carb intake. Make sure, like I said, you stick with the lean meats. Start to lower the sodium. You still want to keep the sugars out. But you eat often. You're still going 6 to 7 meals a day.
I like that part.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's nice. You do get to eat a lot, you know, but as long as you're eating the right foods, you just have to kind of be creative, because it does get a little bland. But you know, you try to be creative, and there's actually a lot of options out there, but things that I had no idea even existed. Once you start to really eat clean, you start to find a lot of those things. So you just got to do a little research and be creative, and it helps.
Okay, yeah, I could see that, because you would get a little bit bored eating the same thing every day.
Right.
What's something you eat now that you never would have eaten before?
You're
a picky eater.
Yeah, I let me just say that before I started training for competitions, I was the pickiest eater ever, and you know me well. Jesse knows me well. You guys can attest to this. I would never even consider eating a salad before I started training for shows. I hate lettuce, I hate vegetables, I'm not doing it. I wouldn't even do it. Salad now is one of my favorite foods.
See how
it's
it
amazing.
changes?
Yeah, once you cut out things like the artificial sweeteners and sugars and things like that, you really start to get a sense, your taste buds start to find the natural flavors in foods again. And you know, things like, I'm a big fan now of spinach, and spinach is great for you. You know, if you work out, you know, spinach is great for you. I eat spinach salads, but even regular lettuce I eat now. I mean, there's almost no vegetable I won't eat now. So there's really a lot of things that I eat now that I would have never even thought of before. But like I said, your taste buds will change, because you know, if you eat clean long enough, just a raw, unsalted almond will taste like candy to you. So
I do really like raw almonds. And I agree with that. I think if you get used to not eating sugar, and then you have something that you've had, like a candy bar or something, it tastes almost sickeningly sweet to you.
Right, absolutely. And the same thing with sodium.
Yeah.
Once you cut out sodium pretty good, if you have a high sodium meal, I mean, you just felt like you just took a cup of salt and you just drank it. So
your body wants to be healthy, remember that. And also, I want to point out, no starvation diets. Even though he was cutting fat, he was still eating 7 meals a day. So eating is imperative to maintaining your metabolism. What was your workout schedule like?
My workout schedule, and once again, all my answers are going to pertain to basically where I was in the training phase. But basically, I was going about 5 to 6 days a week. Even weights were 5 to 6 days a week. What I did for this show specifically, that really changed. Actually, I should have brought this up before. Is from the first show to the second show. That changed a lot. The first show, I was actually lifting weights on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So, you know, we were just doing, like Monday we were doing chest, shoulders, and triceps. And then on Wednesday we would do legs, back, and biceps. And then we'd start over on Friday, and then Monday as you go on. So I was doing, you know, 3 days a week. But for this show, I went to 6 days a week, focusing on one muscle group per day.
Okay.
So I was doing that, and then, you know, always throwing in some abs, at least 6 days a week as well, and then cardio, which increased more as I got closer to the show.
Okay. That makes sense. And core strength is always going to be, you need to do that all the time. I think you'd agree.
Absolutely.
What was the most challenging aspect of the competition training?
I think we kind of covered this a little bit already, but it's, without a doubt, it is the diet. And I hate to even call it a diet, because diets don't work. If you really want to change your physique, you have to change your lifestyle. But it's very hard to get used to that. I mean, if you think of how you've lived your life up to that point, when you decided to really start training, you know, you don't even think about it. You go in the kitchen, you grab sweets, you grab cakes, you grab, you know, whatever you grab. I mean, those carbs are just so readily available, sugars and everything. So changing that entire lifestyle, I mean, dealing with the cravings, watching other people eat pizza while you're sitting there with your grilled chicken, it's very, very challenging, and that's by far the hardest part. I mean, the weights, I could go in and do the weights 7 days a week, and that actually becomes the easy part, you know, but the diet and staying disciplined was absolutely the most challenging part.
I haven't done a competition yet, but I would already agree with that, because I would love to work out, love it. You guys know that. Obviously, I have a whole blog about it. But, I mean, I do eat healthy, but I have a bit of a sweet tooth. So,
I think a lot of people do, so
yeah.
don't be too hard on yourself.
What was your favorite pre-competition recipe? Or recipes? Do you have favorites?
Yeah, I actually do, and I think you shared one of my favorite recipes, which was the protein pancakes. If you're in the phase of your training where you're allowed some carbs, because you are going to have some carbs in those, but those are my favorite. They taste amazing. I mean, people think like, oh, I'm not eating that, but they don't even taste that different from actual pancakes, and they're so much healthier for you. So that would kind of be like, I'd say, my favorite like breakfast. My favorite, once I got closer to the show, I'd say my favorite meal was I stumbled upon actually ground turkey meat that was 99% lean.
Oh.
So it's a very, very lean meat. It's low in sodium. It's great for you, but it would be kind of dry. So if you cook it in olive oil, I would chop up some onions, some red peppers, and I would cook it in olive oil, and that turned out to be like my favorite. I found myself eating that at least 5 days a week. That turned out to be like my favorite. Season it with some Mrs. Dash or something that's salt-free, sodium-free. That was probably my favorite.
That sounds really good. And remember, olive oil is one of those healthy fats that actually helps you get rid of abdominal fat. So like avocados and olive oil are actually really good for you. You do need to have fat in your diet. Did you have cheat foods?
Once again, I know I keep saying this, but it depends on where you're at in the training phase. When you're far enough out, it is encouraged actually to have like one a week. Whatever it is, whatever your craving is, like I don't know if it's a Friday night, a Saturday night, whatever, just go ahead and eat it. But you have to understand that a lot of people get mixed up between a cheat meal and a cheat day. If you take an entire day and just eat whatever you want, you're going to ruin your plan, absolutely. But that one cheat meal, it will actually help you far enough out in your training because, you start to clean up your diet, and what that does is basically spikes the diet, spikes the metabolism, and then, and then it's also, it plays a big part on your mental because it's, like I said, it's very challenging to try to clean up your diet very healthily. So, you take your craving, you eat it, and you're done with it. Forget it. You satisfy yourself. Now you're ready to get back on track for the next day. Now, once you get closer to the show, you do have to cut out the cheat meals because at that point, it's very important when you're starting to lean out to cut them out. So I'd say, depending on what your goal is, depending on what you're training, what division, different things like that, anywhere from like 4 to 6 weeks out, I would say you go ahead and cut out the cheat meal.
Okay. And was that really difficult, or by that point are you so focused that you're
I tell you what, once you get about 4 to 5 weeks out from the show, you're really starting to like how you're looking. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot changes, especially in the last week. But I think for me at least, I would say that you really start to see it coming, and it's like 4 weeks out, and you've been working so hard for so long that if you, even just play on your mind, if you ate that, you risk ruining all that hard work you did. So I don't think it, mentally, it's not as hard to cut out that cheat meal.
Okay. And I will be sharing Mike's progress pics, so be sure to check out my blog for that because it's really amazing the transformation that can happen. And like he said, he's been training for a while now. Before his first competition, he had 8 months, and then the second one, 16 weeks. So that's quite a bit of time, but the progress was really impressive. Okay, so this is like the question. What did training like this teach you about yourself? We're going deep here.
Oh, jeez. It taught me a lot about myself. I think if you're into fitness, my best advice is to have a goal. I'm not saying that everyone should go out and compete because it's not for everyone. It is very difficult, and some people may not like getting on the stage. You may have a lot of different reasons. But if the goal is to add an inch to your arms or lose an inch from your waist, I mean, whatever it is, have a goal and give yourself sort of like a deadline, an attainable goal and an attainable deadline. But work towards it and show yourself. I think you can really prove to yourself that, yes, you can do it. I mean, before I ever started competing, when I just went and saw these shows and got this idea in my head, you know, I really wanted to do that, but somewhere in the back of your head you think, can I really look like that?
Mm-hmm.
But you really can. And so it taught me the sacrifice, it taught me dedication, it taught me discipline, and those are all great things that you can use in other aspects of your life, not just in fitness.
Definitely.
So, I mean, it definitely taught me a ton about myself and how hard I can push myself. And another thing that I want to say is that the body can be pushed very, very hard. I think this is something that's important to touch on. Your mind will give up long before your body will, is the best way that I can put that. So just remember to keep pushing yourself.
Okay, do you have any future fitness goals or any more competition goals?
Absolutely. I think, the thing I like most about fitness is that I don't think that, obviously there's no perfect body. So just always chasing that, you know, whether it's improving on getting your abs a little bit tighter or, you know, getting your arms a little bit bigger, working on something, there's always something more to work on with fitness. I don't, like I said, there's no perfect body, so I don't ever, you know, think I could say like, yeah, I'm here, that's it, I don't have anything else. But, so yeah, I like the pursuit of always trying to improve. I think that's what it's about. And as far as competition goals, I absolutely want to keep in pursuit. I right now compete in the NPC, which is basically the amateur version of, or division I should say, of the IFBB, which is the pro division, pro league. And I would love to one day be able to have that pro card. So yeah, I think the season for me has pretty much come to an end. But right now I'm just focused on making the improvements that I need to do, and then when the new season starts up next year, I'm definitely going to be in pursuit of that pro card.
I think that you can do it.
Thank you.
Finally, do you want to give shout-outs to anybody?
I could probably go on all day, but I think first and foremost is my family and my friends, because it's very difficult when you're training for one of these shows. I mean, not only do you have to be disciplined with all your workouts, with all your preparation, all your meals and everything, but you know, you get very moody at times, and there's a lot of people that have to put up with you. So I definitely want to thank everyone who's put up with me. But you know, my mom would cook me a separate meal when we had meals, you know, than everyone else, and you know, those are things that you really appreciate because they help you go a long way. So yeah, I just, everyone who's been in my life has supported me so much on this, and I think that's huge. I couldn't do it without that kind of support.
And that is huge, because I get messages from people all the time saying, my family doesn't support me, they think that I'm crazy, they say that I'm not experiencing life because I'm not eating dessert. Well,
what?
No, these are real things that people get all the time. But life is not a dessert. It's not about a dessert. It's about being happy, healthy, fit, and being able to do whatever you want to do. What is going to help you achieve that? Eating another, you know, slice of cake, or working out and being a little bit healthier, a little bit stronger, and maybe even living a little bit longer so you can do more things. So
yeah, and I agree with that completely. I have people, you know, like I said, I have a lot of people in my life that support it, but you always run into someone. I mean, what you'll find is that you're eating out of Tupperware, cold chicken. I mean, and people look at you like you're crazy. They really do. You know, like I DJ and on the side. You know, so you know, it's 12:30 at night, and I'm at the bar DJing, and I go in and I grab my chicken out of the Tupperware, and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" And people think you're crazy. Some people are going to tell you, yeah, like she said, some people are going to tell you, "Oh, come on, eat this pizza. Oh, it's not going to hurt you. You can run it off tomorrow." But let me tell you something: you cannot out-train a bad diet. And then another saying that I like, I think it goes something like, that craving, would you like to satisfy that craving you've had for an hour, or would you like to have the body that you've dreamed of for a lifetime? So you just have to look at it in perspective to your goals.
okay, I like it. Thank you very much. I think Jesse's telling Mike to do something. I don't know.
I might have missed something.
Thank your trainer. You did a good job.
You know, man. I had two trainers for this show. I started off.
Oh shucks.
They both they both helped me a lot, and Bill Seenerth was played a big part in my training. He is actually works for GNC. He's done a lot of stuff for them. He's also a fitness model. He's been a huge help to me, and also Luke Boehm, who is another competitor. The first show I did, he won the overall. He's very fit, and he's got a great physique, but he really knows what he's doing too. And both of these guys have been very motivating. It's not just about telling you what to do; it's motivating you, pushing you on the days that you feel like you can't get through. Saying the right things to you. So obviously, I don't know how I missed them guys. I couldn't have done it without them.
I told him to make sure he thanked his mom. He would have anyway. He already was going to do it, but
Yes.
I think I distracted him. Okay, thank you so much for joining us today. It was really interesting to hear about the competition side of things because obviously I haven't experienced that to this point, although you never know. There's always the future. So I hope that you guys all have a good evening. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for having me, and watch her videos. One more thing that I didn't say in this training, and I'm not trying to plug you or anything because I'm in your house and you're interviewing me. There was a couple, in the video especially that I did with Melissa, there was a couple moves that I did, and this is no lie, that really, really helped me cut up my midsection. So, she really knows what she's doing, and these things work. Anything works, you just have to do it. You have to stay disciplined, and you have to keep doing it. So watch these videos, do what she says. Even a guy like me who trains, who competes in shows, listen to her, and I got some great tips, so do it.
Woohoo! Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.